Welcome back everyone, it's Sierra Nova here with Anime and Beyond. Let's get things kicked off with Addressing the Hate, the One Piece edition. Today we're going to be discussing Vinsmoke Sanji, Blackbeard, and Sakazuki. We'll get into a little bit of the characters' backstory, why they might be hated, and my opinion towards that hate. However, I will warn you to tread lightly if you have not made it past the Whole Cake Island arc. I will also be talking about bits of the Skypiea arc and the Paramount War arc as well. Okay, so here's a little bit of backstory about Sanji. When the series first started, we knew of Vinsmoke Sanji as just Sanji of East Blue. The only thing that we knew of his family at the time was that Zeph at Barati rescued Sanji as a young boy and took him in. Zeph was his father figure, and we knew absolutely nothing about Sanji besides the fact that he was a cook and that his dream is to find a rumored chef's paradise all blue. Soon after, he joined Luffy's crew as a chef and is one of the top 4 fighters of the Straw Hats. And it wasn't until the Whole Cake Island arc that we got more of his story. Sanji actually belongs to a really powerful family that uses scientific tools and tech. They're mercenaries and they're called Germa 66. Sanji is the 3rd son and the 4th child. Sanji pretty much only had 2 people on his side as a child when he was with the Vinsmokes, and that was his mom and that was his sister. His mom unfortunately passed away and his sister actually helped Sanji get away and escape. Sanji was pretty much an outcast and bullied by his father and siblings. So why the hate for Vinsmoke Sanji? First things first, let's get started with reason number 1. Sanji's love for the ladies. It's no secret at this point that Sanji has a thing for the ladies. Whenever he sees anyone remotely attractive, he becomes a whole nother person and even adopts his infamous heart-eyed noodle form. Personally, I never did find it annoying to the extent that others may find it. I always found it funny, but I can certainly see why people would dislike this trait of Sanji's, only because it can interfere with the task at hand sometimes. Not all of the time, but there was a few times where it did interfere, especially in Water 7 arc against Khalifa. So Khalifa is someone that we see in the Water 7 arc. She's later revealed to be a member of CP9 and is an opponent and an enemy to the Straw Hats. Back then I wasn't quite sure how Sanji would handle this because he got matched with her in a fight. But Sanji has always said that he would never put his hands on a lady. However, he was shown at least defending himself, but only defending himself nearly cost him his life and Nami had to intervene. Things like that, especially against a woman, if a woman knows that you have that type of weakness, she will use it against you, which is what Khalifa did. Now this trait of Sanji's may actually be his downfall, because Nami and Robin may not always be around to save Sanji from this. So it's quite interesting to see how this will unfold and continue to go on. While doing some more research on this topic, I also discovered that some do not like Sanji because they feel like he is sexist and perverted. Just like having a dumb main character to go to for shonen, so is having a perverted character around. While I do believe that there should be a limit, which I don't think Sanji's even come close to crossing, there are characters like Brook, Master Roshi, Jiraiya, and Lit that have perverted tendencies. For some reason, I've never seen any hate about any of these characters, and I have to wonder if Sanji solely gets crap because of his refusal to hit women. Personally, I do not believe that Sanji is sexist, or rather I think to call Sanji sexist is an exaggeration. There has never been a time where Sanji has taken over because he didn't think Robin or Nami were capable of fighting. Like Sanji has never told Robin or Nami that they should stick to just looking pretty and cooking in the kitchen. I genuinely believe that Sanji respects Robin's and Nami's abilities to fight and doesn't undermine them. However, he just doesn't want to see them get hurt, and if he can protect them, he will. Many people may disagree with me, but there's just a clear difference to me. Now I hope that it is understood that One Piece shouldn't be classified as sexist because One Piece actually has a lot of strong women, but One Piece is actually fairly inclusive. Okay, so let's get on to the third reason why Sanji gets a lot of hate. Zoro. Now this is just an observation on my part, but for some reason fans feel like they can only like one character or the other when that is not the case. For example, Sakura and Hinata from Naruto. You may choose to hate one or the other, but you don't have to. I hate that there is so much division within the anime community, but it is possible to like both Sakura and Hinata as well as Sanji and Zoro. Sanji seems to suffer from Zoro's shadow a bit because he is constantly compared to Zoro when they are literally 2 different characters with 2 different fighting styles. It would be rather boring if you had a bunch of duplicated characters and personalities all over the place. It should be taken into consideration that every character is going to have some sort of flaw or imperfection to make them interesting and more relatable. Lastly, let's get on with the final reason. Whole Cake Island arc. I happened to notice that Sanji attacking Luffy, his leader, made fans very upset. I will admit that it did shock me at first, but instead of getting mad at Sanji, I understood that this was out of his character. Sanji would never attack Luffy without a reason. Not saying that it was a good or a bad reason, but Sanji did have really good intentions, but it was delivered horribly. In his own way, Sanji was literally trying to protect Luffy and the others. I said the same thing about Sakura when she lied to Naruto, and I said the same thing about Hinata when she rejected Naruto in the last. These characters, like Sanji, had good intentions or were just trying to protect someone close to them. Nevertheless, it does not make the things Sanji said or did any less hurtful. This is completely different from when Usopp attacked Luffy for the Going Merry. That is something I'll get into in another video since it's a separate topic, but for now we're going to focus on the main point, which was Sanji's intentions. Sanji's intentions were only to protect the captain, nothing more and nothing less. Alright, so let's get into Blackbeard, also known as Marshall D. Teach. A little bit about his backstory. Blackbeard is a captain to the Blackbeard Pirate, and he is currently one of the 4 emperors. He is also the only known person in history to wield the powers of 2 devil fruits. Blackbeard started out his pirate career as a member of the Whitebeard Pirates until he murdered Thatch, the 4th Division commander. I believe he murdered Thatch for a devil fruit and then he defected, okay? Now here's the part where we start getting into why I hate Blackbeard. Ace pursued Blackbeard and was angry at Blackbeard for doing this because Ace could not forgive Blackbeard for what he did. Now if you didn't watch the Paramount War, you should probably stop. But if you did, then you're gonna know why everyone hates Blackbeard, myself included. Blackbeard killed Ace, and I do not like Blackbeard. Well, Blackbeard had a part to play in it. Granted, Ace probably shouldn't have pursued Blackbeard like Whitebeard warned, but Blackbeard turned Ace in, and Ace was in Impel Down, and that is all a part of the Paramount War. Crazy thing is, when we first was introduced to Blackbeard and Skypiea, we probably thought nothing of it. And now look at him. Anyway, I'm also going to go ahead and get into Sakazuki's backstory as well, because Sakazuki also has something to do with Ace's death as well. So unlike Blackbeard, Sakazuki doesn't really have much of a backstory. All that we know is that he's a Marine. Maybe they will expound on that later on in the series, or maybe they expounded on it in the manga, but I'm not sure. Anyway, back to Impel Down in the Paramount War arc. This was a really emotional arc, especially seeing that Ace was all that Luffy had left. At least that's what the audience was led to believe at the time. So we really didn't want anything to happen to Ace. And the way Luffy got into Impel Down in the first place was, I believe that Boa Hancock smuggled Luffy into Impel Down. Luffy ended up meeting Jinbe, and a whole chain of events ended up unfolding. But I think what the most emotional part was, besides the audience not wanting Ace to die, was the fact that Ace almost got out of that situation. Luffy had almost succeeded in rescuing Ace, and I really thought that Ace was going to be out of there. So I was like, okay, if Ace gets out of there, then this is going to redeem my hate towards Blackbeard. But then Sakazuki stepped in and he made things worse. He baited Ace somehow by saying something about his father, which I didn't really like because Ace barely knew his father, but whatever. He baited Ace, killed Ace, and then Sakazuki tried to get a 2-for-1 deal by doing the same thing to Luffy when Luffy went into shock right after seeing Ace get killed right before his very eyes. While I do understand that Sakazuki was just doing his job because he is a Marine at the end of the day, I don't like how it went down. And I had always wondered at the back of my head, how is this going to play out with Garp being a Marine and his kids are pirates? It's kind of ironic. So I think it goes without saying that we're all looking forward to the day where Luffy crosses paths with Blackbeard and Sakazuki. That's going to be very interesting to see because Blackbeard and Sakazuki played a major part in Ace's death. At first I was kind of mad that Sakazuki survived against Whitebeard, but I want both Sakazuki and Blackbeard to feel the consequences of their actions, and hopefully we will see that with Luffy, especially since Blackbeard robbed the devil fruit from Whitebeard's dead body. Talk about disrespectful. Anyway, if you have any comments or you disagree with anything that I said, please leave them down below. Thank you for tuning in and checking me out. Sierra Nova is out.